Good evening, everybody. Welcome to apparently late night podcasting with Wonder.Wonders 906. Today I have Joshua James with me. He is what how do I say that? Like another member of Mental Health Court. I've only known James for what would you say, like maybe a month, like a little bit longer than that, but actually got to know him like within the last month. And I just thought he would be a good guest to have on the show. And basically, he's going to share with us his story, and then I have some questions to ask him. Do you want me to go straight into questions, or do you want to tell me a little bit like how you did in your little bio?
Um, I mean, I guess I can introduce myself. Well, I'm from Lansing. I moved up to U2 when I was 12. Big cultural change where I'm from.
A little
So,
bit louder, though.
it's a bit of a cultural change from where I'm from. So it took some adjusting. And I'm still discovering the differences between the cities. I had my first kid when I was 19.
Hold on. Now say something.
Um, I had my first kid at 19, and
I can hear you at the bar like insanely loud. Can you hear them?
can I hear
Or
who?
no? The people at the bar, they're just being really loud and obnoxious.
Oh no, I can't.
Okay. I'm sorry. Let's just
Oh,
keep going.
all right. I had my first kid at 19. I have three kids, kids, three boys. And they are 16, 12, and 17. And right now, I'm going through lots of different things. We can get into the question.
I can't hear you.
Oh, it's probably my headphones. To be honest with you, I have these earbuds in I got from mental health court. They're probably not the best for this. Uh, I'll
I think
try.
it maybe it's like a little bit of both.
Okay. I'll try
I'm
to,
surprised you can't hear them.
yeah, I guess I can kind of hear them now. I thought that was your TV or something,
No,
but
that's not.
oh wow, yeah, I can most definitely hear them now. Yeah,
They getting crazy.
yeah. All right, so I guess I'll try and speak louder. Well, maybe
Okay.
I'll do it without the headphones.
Actually, I was gonna take you. All right. Wanda's never done late night, so I didn't know that this would happen. Hold on. I'm trying to unplug my computer and then I'm going to take you into my son's room.
All right.
Hey, so sorry.
Are you gonna edit some of this stuff? You edit?
Um, I can, but so I just do mine live. I don't pre-record.
Oh, you do it live.
I
Okay.
do it live. Yes. because I don't really know how to edit, to be honest. My end froze here, so I'm gonna refresh real quick.
All right. Okay. How was that? Oh, reconnecting.
Okay, sorry about that.
No, it's fine. How's the volume now?
Um, I don't know if we can start over, but I don't know how to if that's a thing. So just start wherever, I guess. Sorry.
Oh no, it's fine. Like, are we starting? We could just go into the questions.
Are you sure? I'm so sorry.
No, it's cool. It's
I
cool.
can hear you so much better now, though.
Okay, it's good.
Okay. Um, okay, so you became a dad at 19, and that probably changed everything. How did early fatherhood shape the man you became?
Well, I realized that it's not just me. I have to be able to work and buy diapers and daycare and all those type of things came in. And, like, the first time I ever changed a diaper was my oldest son. Like, it was a whole new process for me, and it was, seeing him grow. It really, like, being a part of that. It really changed me. Like, it's like from when he was a baby. I got pictures from still on my phone from when he was a baby, and I still remember, like, there's certain moments, that I share with him that it's just me and him, and it really, like, changed me becoming a parent. Because I get to be the part of somebody, part of his life. You know, I get to be a dad. I had a great dad, so I'm striving to be, the best dad I could be. My dad, he was part of my life, from childbirth until he passed away. And he did, a lot of great things with us. So I'm just trying to keep that going. That was my goal.
That's really cool. Like, did you, like, at first, do you think you had a hard time, like, navigating between, like, or even, like, as you got older, like, navigating between friend and, like, father?
As he got older, absolutely. We he was, like, for the longest time, he was my best friend. Like, we shared everything. That it's like your oldest, you have a close bond. I have the closest bond with him as far as, like,
music, TV, like anime. We watched anime together. Everything. He got into sports. Everything. We shared everything. Like a lot of different experiences. And it's like there's a point. There's a part of me. It was like look at him. I wasn't looking at him like he was my son. It's like more of a friend. You know. Sometimes I have to step back and remind myself, like, hey, this is my son. And it's just it's just like that bond. I don't know, it's weird to me, kind of, in a good
Is
way,
that
like,
is that what you would say, like, those are the moments that, like, remind you of who you are, like, at your core?
well, yeah, like those moments, we shared, it's just, yeah, me sharing myself with him, not a parent, you know not just being a parent, but able to show him who I really am, the wild things like this, the things we do, like jumping off a overpass bridge. No,
What?
yeah, I, I taught, yeah, like I taught my son. We went out to Dunbar, and I showed him, like there's that overpass, and you just jump into the water. No right parent would do that, but I mean, like, but me as sharing my experiences with him,
Right.
I've done it. I did it before. He was around, and he got older, and was like, all right, let's go do this, and he does it. He liked it, so we both did it together and things like that. And then going to Cedar Point, I've taken him to Cedar Point like maybe
I fucking
three,
love
four
Cedar
times.
Point.
Cedar Point is awesome, and I took him the first time I took him. He was like maybe 7, and then there was another like 2 other times other than that. And we just share those experiences. It's not just like about father and son. It's just more like us, like being friends. I guess I don't know. Just like it's like just going somewhere with your buddy, and you guys are just enjoying the same things, laughing at the same jokes and things like that. It's pretty,
I love that.
yeah,
What would you say has been the hardest part of raising you said you have 3 boys?
yeah.
Okay, raising 3 boys, and how do you push through when people make it difficult for you to be the father you want to be?
Well, the hardest part is for me would be raising them together, and because of the situation that I created for myself, it's kind of hard. But I was raising them together, and the biggest thing that I wanted for them is to realize that they're brothers. That you know just because of the situation that is present doesn't mean you can't grow up together. You all share my blood. You all raised together in the same house. Like with me, you're together, you're brothers. You're not, when you see them, when you're not with me, you're gonna see that that's your brother. You're gonna recognize that's your brother and things like that. And raising them together, and then when I'm gone out of this, when I'm dead and gone, I want them to know that you can always count on your brothers, which is how my parents raised me. You know, like when they're gone, not around, you got your brother, and which is what I'm striving for. And then when it gets hard, it's just like, how do I get back to it? How do I get back to getting them together? And that's what I'm aiming for right now, is get them together so they can, have that bond with each other. Because for the longest time, I was super close with my brother. Like, we were,
That's what I was gonna ask.
yeah.
Are you
And
still close with him?
no, not recently, but it's okay. We went our separate ways, but deep down, he knows that if he needs me, I'm there. And same way, you know, it's just, we just grew different paths, and that's all right. I ain't mad at it.
Right, right. I feel the same way with my brother. You don't have to go into too much detail, but do your sons get to see each other like outside of like if they're not with you, can they still see each other or not right
Not
now?
often. Like, yeah, not often.
That sucks because like I can relate to that because of the situation I created for myself. Violet and Atlas don't get to see each other as much as I would like to, but I always like try and encourage them like I'll tell Atlas about his sister and what she said when I talked to her and that they miss each other and love each other, and I'll do the same for Violet. So I feel for you there. You've learned a lot about your mental health and attachment style. What was the moment you realized you needed to understand yourself more deeply?
I went and saw this one guy. His name was Matt Wilcox, and he introduced this attachment style. And he said, what he told me what type of attachment style I have, and it just hit me. I'm like, okay, that it makes sense. And I'm like, it's just been an ongoing thing ever since for maybe 6 or 7 years. I started, discovering more about my mental health. Like early on, like from 2011. So I was more focused about my physical health. What I got to do to stay physically fit. I wasn't really focused on my mental. And then, I got to like back maybe 6 or 7 years ago, I started reading more, started focusing on my mind and the type of person I am. My shortcomings, I guess you can say it. But just like getting a hand on those, getting a handle on those, because I feel like those things are a part of you. You can't really get rid of them. It's like an organ in your body. You gotta nurture them. You gotta find a way to control them. Like your liver, you keep your liver healthy, it keeps you alive. Just like these mental problems, mental health issues. I feel like they're never gonna go away, but you got to figure out how to control it, how to keep,
Like
yeah, like
maintenance.
nurture, yeah, and have control over that type of stuff before you can, for you to thrive. Before you can push yourself forward and have success and whatever the things you do.
How would you describe your attachment style and how has it shown up in your relationships?
Oh, I'm a dismissive avoidant. It's
Could
very,
you tell me more about that? Because I don't like I kind of know a little bit, but not too much about attachment styles.
it's like I keep my emotions locked up, and then if something's like coming at me that bothers me, I turn into like a brick wall. Like I don't talk, I don't show any face. I will just like stare at you, stare at the person, and then not say anything, no response, nothing. It's called, just being dismissive. And there's, things that you have to do. You gotta like you gotta, what do you say, like, go outside of your comfort zone. I have to teach myself to go outside of my comfort zone so I can like speak up. You know, you know, like dismissive people are bad boundary setters. You know, because we don't communicate our boundaries very like
That makes
easy. It's
sense.
not easy to communicate boundaries with people. So it just turns into a whole thing, and I have to learn to go outside of my box, do things this way or this that way, instead of what I'm comfortable with, which is going silent. Using my voice to speak up, really. And there's a lot of other things that go along with it. There's like insecurities and things like that.
How is that like shown up in your relationships?
Uh, you know, say we have like an argument, I just go silent. my comfort zone is in, I'll stare at my phone or, just completely tune out. But it's not saying like I'm still thinking about, what's been said to me, but I'm just not expressing it. And that creates trouble when I don't express what I'm
Yeah,
thinking.
or like acknowledge it.
Yes.
It probably
So,
like turns people like off or away.
yeah, it's like literally just like dismissing, dismissing what's coming at me, because but I'm thinking about it. I'm just not expressing, giving a response, you know, in the way that I should.
Right.
Sometimes,
Um,
like if I feel sorry, I'll, like love languages. I'll, acts of express my, like sorry about like, maybe like instead of saying something, I'll go do something for the person. Like, I don't
like
know,
acts of service.
acts of service, yeah, that things like that, or whatever. Or if I'm, if things like that,
That makes
it's
sense.
just a way it's a process for me trying to navigate these new things about myself. If that makes sense.
Um, what's one belief about yourself that you had to unlearn in order to grow?
You can't use anger to destroy.
Okay. I don't know if you heard me on and like they want me to be very careful about what I share. They don't want me to share about mental health court, but I think this is okay. Like, did you hear what I said when the judge asked me like what happens when you get angry? You just get triggered, and I said, well, through role playing and therapy, I learned that I don't want to be seen as like sad or vulnerable because I feel like I'm under a magnifying glass, and I feel like if people see me like that, they're going to think I'm unstable. So then to protect myself, I get angry, and that actually does what I think sadness, like, does that make sense? What I think the sadness will do. It makes me look unstable.
Mm.
Yeah. So, yeah, I don't remember what we were talking about, but kind of like that, I guess.
And
Uh,
it can really like, it can really play a hindrance on you. Like I have anger issues, you know.
Preaching to
Um,
the choir.
so but people look at anger as like a bad thing, but you can do a is if you serve anger, you'll destroy something. But if like the anger serves you, you can get a lot done. Is what I
Yeah, I
discovered.
call it anger cleaning.
Yeah, like anger cleaning or starting or finishing a project. I use like when I get mad, that's what I've been doing is just go start a project, go work out. I have like a little workout area in my upstairs, and I can get a whole with anger. I can get a whole set done, or a whole workout done, or yeah, like you said, anger cleaning. And I have lots of projects at my house that I need to get done. So I mean, and it just you just let the anger serve you, not you serve the anger. That's what I've learned. And then I also learned that love plus anger equals passion. I have a lot of passion. I
Okay.
have a lot of passion, like especially like with my kids. I have a lot of passion. I love being a parent. I love being a parent. It's like so fun to me. I've taken my kids to Cedar Point. I've taken them to Chicago. I've taken them to the Dells, Wisconsin Dells. Almost all the Midwest. And there's so much more I want to do, and it's because I'm just a passionate parent. I care about them. And sometimes it just maybe sometimes it goes overboard, but I don't know. It's just I'm a caring parent, caring, passionate parent. I'm there for them. You
You
know,
show up.
yeah, show up, orchestra concerts, parent teacher conferences. Freaking the schools they call me to my children. They know I'm gonna show up. So
That's awesome.
yeah.
What's something about your mental health journey that people might not expect?
Um, I don't know. That I I don't know.
I would say
Again,
maybe, and correct me if I'm wrong, like even though you're very like dismissive, you care a lot.
yeah, I do. Yeah, yeah, I do care. Especially for the people that are like in my circle. And my circle is
Yeah.
very small. I care about them a lot. I pretty much will go out of my way for the people in my circle. Like the guy I work with, I've been working with him for months now. We grown so close. Like this is a prime example. We've grown so close. He's like a friend now. Like I say he's one of my best friends. He's like a 60-year-old man.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
awesome.
yeah.
I
And we
love
work
older
together.
people. Older
And I
people have
always
like
make
so
sure
much.
he has a ride home, and always make sure he's trying to do my best. He takes care of me, and I take care of him. And I'll go out of my way for him, and I know he would do the same for me because he has multiple times. And it's just been like we went through working together with somebody. You see them every day.
Yeah.
It's pretty much a relationship. 10 hours a day. I'm seeing this guy for 4 days out of the week. So we pretty much like you're either gonna grow to love this person or you're gonna grow to hate this person. Luckily, it's the former. Like where we talk on the phone, even on the weekends,
Well, that's
we'll text
fucking
each other
cool.
and stuff, and it's real cool. It's like this is probably the coolest part. Because I like now working with somebody that you truly get along with makes work so 10 times more enjoyable. Like it doesn't even feel like work, really. Though I'm getting paid and things like that. Though it has its challenges, but it doesn't. It makes work go by so fast. A week just flies on by when you're
I love
working
that
with
for
people
you.
that you like. Yeah.
Um, what's the biggest risk you've taken in your life and what did it teach you?
Oh, funny thing. Uh, Back in 2011, I went to Canada. I played basketball. Like I was telling my parents and my brother, yeah, and my then wife at the time that what I planned on doing. They was like, no, just wait a little bit. It's just a phase. And I went out and did it. And I was working nights, going to school, and playing on the college basketball team in Canada. And I worked so hard, I worked myself to the bone. I ended up earning a scholarship.
Oh shit.
Yeah, a basketball scholarship, but that's another story. And that was life changing for me. That like changed my whole perspective on my things that I can do. If I put my mind to it, I know I can achieve it. And it changed my life completely.
Did you
Like doing that.
utilize your scholarship?
Oh, funny thing, I took the scholarship money and I went partying with my brother.
Oh. Oh, they straight
So
up gave you the money. They didn't like put it towards your school.
no, it just straight up gave me a check. Yeah, just gave me a check, and I spent that. Yeah, but then it's all right though, because from then on, I got into boxing, and boxing was another thing that changed my life. Nobody in my family's ever been a boxer before, and I've won a couple state championships and this and like I won. You know, I was decent. I was really good. I actually want to get back into it. Like it was just unexpected, and it turned out I was really good at boxing. Like, really, it's so good for boxing. I had boxing is so good for you.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I feel like that would be very therapeutic, especially for like the anger.
It it is, oh my goodness, it is like therapy. It is the best therapy, physically, mentally, emotionally. I went through it all before a fight. The anxiety you have before a fight is just out through the roof. But then once you start, something kicks in, and then once it's over, you're drained, but you're sad, you're happy that you just got through that,
Feel
and it's just,
accomplished.
yes, and it's a big accomplishment. And then if you win, it's a whole nother thing. And then winning a tournament, a state tournament, you just feel like you're just like, I ain't gonna lie, my head was the size of a hot air balloon. Winning those like tournaments and stuff, and it's just life changing, completely life changing.
When you take risks, what scares you the most, and then what motivates you to do it anyways?
What scares me the most is it not paying off.
Okay,
Like,
that's valid.
you you take a risk, and you make the sacrifices, and it doesn't work out. It's just it's like draining. Like, I got my I'm trying to turn this camera around. Well, I'll just bring it up. I took a risk, and I went and got my degree, my surgical technician degree,
Beautiful.
and I won't be able to use it. You know, I spent $5,000 doing this, going to school of my own money, out of my own pocket, and I won't be able to use this. So that was a risk that didn't pay off, and it was draining. But luckily, but I took the good from the bad, and say, like, if I can go through this, I can get through anything.
Hell yeah.
'Cause I'm not one for school at all. Smart, but I don't like school. But if I can get through that, I can get through anything. And that's what you really have to do when things don't go out. When you take a risk and they don't go as planned, you just take the
Right.
good from the bad and push
Right.
forward.
Yeah, I feel that. Um, Now we're gonna touch a little bit on your marriage. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Okay. Your marriage lasted 5 years?
Yep.
Okay. What did that relationship teach you about love, commitment, and yourself?
Well, taught me a lot about myself. Like, do I have what it takes to make somebody happy? You know, it really made me question myself. Uh, it was a commit. It was nice. She taught me a lot. You know, like, I was a hard worker before I met her, and then, like, with her, she taught me, like, being consistently working hard. Going out, keeping a job, pushing through the hard days, of work. You're not just getting up and quitting your job. She taught me that, and she taught me, I learned a lot from her. I still youth, and it just didn't work out. We both have our problem. I had my problems. I was, like I said, dismissive, avoidant. I didn't even know what that was, not even a clue, and that played a huge factor in the relationship. And
Oh, I bet.
you know, and it just didn't work. And for the longest time, we were co-parenting, okay. Like, you have your ups and downs and whatnot, but things, then don't work out. And what was your question?
Just what it taught you about love, commitment, and yourself. You kind of covered that.
Yeah.
Um, what differences do you notice now between healthy relationships and the ones that aren't good for you?
The difference is communication. Communication, really. You know, being able to speak freely, not putting someone down is really, and I think about, my grandparents, they were married for 40 some odd years, 40, 50 years before my granddad passed away. And they never said they had a healthy relationship. I look at all these people all my family members were married until one of their spouses died. And they never said anything about a healthy relationship. They said you go through it. You stick it out through the good and the bad and all of that. They never once said, "Oh, we have a healthy marriage." No, they said you go through it. You you keep your word. You keep your vows.
Through sickness and health.
Yes, and it can. And they said, it can get ugly, but they stuck it through and they worked it out. And that was one of the biggest. I'm looking at that now. I just started realizing that recently. You know, these people that were married, they never said anything about having a healthy marriage. They just say, "We stick it out. You just gotta stick it out," which is
Wild.
what you have to do. So when I say, good relationship and a bad relationship, a good relationship is those who stick it out, and a bad relationship is those who go to separate ways. You know, it's not about toxic or anything. It's just you stick it out.
What role do you think you played, good or bad, in relationships that you've had?
Uh, the good, I would say, I can I gave the person what they need. You know, they need a shoulder to cry on. I'm there. They need a little bit of money. I'll do that. Or you need help. I'm there. I'll give you what you need. And the bad is just my communication because of that dismissive, very bad communicator I've been in the past relationships. And, with boundary setting and things like that, it's just been a big, a big, thing for me in my previous relationships, you know. So I'm still working on communication, and that was probably the biggest factor for me. The good is, there's a lot of, I think for me, the good outweighs the bad, but that's just kind of tooting my own horn because, I feel like I'm funny. I work hard and things like that. All those, qualities, good qualities, whatever. But it's just the biggest hurdle is just the communication.
Right. Right. And I feel like that you need that in like all aspects of a relationship really to keep moving forward and work through stuff. But you know that. Um so now we'll talk about like I I didn't I'm not gonna lie. I didn't read your bio when you sent it to me. I just plugged it into Copilot for the questions, but you moved from Lansing to the Sioux at 12. How did that move shape your identity?
Well, it's a complete different culture,
Yeah, it is. A lot
completely
faster
different.
paced.
Yeah, like Lansing, you're surrounded by, everybody's going through the same thing. Like around the people you're around. Well, the people I'm around, we all went through the same things, like our parent, we can speak more freely about what goes on in your household. And, the culture is all the same. And up here, it's like a big cultural change. You got tribal people and the language. Like you know, I've had to deal with a lot of racism up here. Like when I first got up here, they said all kinds of black jokes and things like that. I ain't never heard of all this stuff when I moved up here. And now it's just like whatever. It's whatever now. I get it. It doesn't make it right, but I get it.
No.
But
Do you still deal with that?
oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. There's no doubt about that. I
Damn.
think it's gonna be, it's gonna be probably the rest of my life. People are gonna just yeah. And it's like with Lansing, it's very fast paced, and there's more things to do. There's
More opportunities too.
yeah, more opportunity. Yeah, exactly, more opportunities. And then there's Michigan State, 20 minutes, half an hour from where I lived. It's one of the biggest campuses ever. There's so much to do there, even for young people. They don't have that type of stuff up here. Like down in Lansing, they had this King Shabazz program where you would stay on Michigan State campus for like a week and do all kinds of things around the campus. And they don't have that type of things here for kids now. Like I wish they did. Growing up here, you just gotta find your own, make your own fun, which can be bad or whatever. Luckily for me, it wasn't. I just had my brother and we just go to the park to play basketball. But you have to make your own fun here. You know, try and stay busy. Whereas opposed to Lansing, there's an
Right.
abundance of things to do. It's insane.
So I have probably four more questions left. What what characteristic or like what part of your character are you most proud of today?
Uh, my courage.
Okay.
Like I said, back in 2011, it started back then. Going to Canada is took courage to do that. I'm like, I feel like I could get through. I'm very courageous. I feel like I'm brave. Like I'm not scared of. There's not too many things I'm scared of. You know, and I'm trying to teach my kids. Just be courageous. Go out. You know, like I feel like from in my family, I'm the first to do like a lot of different things, good and bad. But you know, I'm making these trails for these kids to, like trying to be the best example I can. So I would say being my courage is probably being courageous,
This
being
question
brave.
isn't on here, but what's your phobia? Are you like what are you scared of?
Literally, I'm scared of falling. Like literally,
like
like
like heights or like
yes,
okay.
yes, like literally. That's probably the only thing I can think of. Like going on a roller coaster, I don't look down. I'm, straight out like don't look down because that would freak me out. But literally, it's just falling. And then yeah, your fear of God and all that. God fearing man, and just trying to stay in it. But there's not much I could say I'm scared of. There's not much if I'm scared of an owl, like a spider. Okay, yeah, spiders. Scared of spiders. I
Okay.
mean, that's another one. So I wouldn't say there's not much I'm scared of, especially at the age I am. I'm 35 years old. There's not much to be scared of at this point. You know,
Right, right. You've kind of already touched on this, but just to just amplify and emphasize, when your boys are grown, what do you hope they say about what kind of father you were
yeah, I was just a caring father. I tried.
and that you showed
You
up?
know, you know,
What do you think your purpose is right now?
purpose is finding myself. Getting through. Always with me, it's always getting close to the finish line and never being able to cross it. I'm always at the finish line and then I stumble. and that's my biggest hurdle, and my purpose is to get past that finish line so I can really thrive in my life, because I feel like there's so much I can do. I feel like I'm so talented. I'm so, not to, like, this is just maybe my ego talking, but I'm so like gifted with height, and like with my working with my hands and my mind. Is just like, these are just gifts, and I'm not utilizing them to the fullest because I'm always pushing myself to the finish line, and then not being able to cross that threshold, like getting to the next step.
I
And
feel like you're still
that's,
pretty young though. Like you're still young.
yeah, but yeah. For what, like, I own my house. I have a broken down truck that I'm working on, but for where I'm at, I feel like I'm doing very well.
Yeah,
But there's so much more. I have so many, like, things I want to do, and I
right.
just gotta get past this, cross the finish line. Really, stop stumbling. Like, my coach, my boxing coach, said, your biggest problem is you get in your own way, and he is 100% right. I get in my own way 100% of the time.
Um, Two more questions. If you could talk to yourself 10 years from now, what it says, what do you hope he thanks you for? But I would say if you could talk to yourself 10 years from now, does that make sense?
So
No,
if I could talk to myself at 45,
maybe. Yeah. What would you say?
I don't know.
I don't really like that question. Slash that. I've got a
Uh,
different one. What would your younger self say to you now?
you're fat.
Shut up.
No, my younger self would be like, go to the gym, because I keep telling myself to go to the gym. But no, my younger self would be like, 10 years ago, you're doing good. I mean,
Right. Right.
you're doing good. Like, shit, I couldn't imagine, owning a house on my own and being able to keep it up like I do. And it's just, you're doing very well. So just keep going.
I love that. I love the things that you touched on today. Is there anything that we didn't cover that you want to cover?
No,
I
I
think we
don't.
covered it all. It was good. Thank you again for this late night session. I couldn't sleep, and so yeah, this was really enlightening. Uh, yeah, so come back anytime.
Yeah.
All right.